Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Jessica Smith and I help you simplify home education so you can work wonders in your home. This video is a part of a series called From My Bookshelves, where I show you books that are from my shelves that we have read as a family and that we love. Now, there's going to be a whole book list on a blog post that's going to be in the description box that's going to have all the books that are maybe from a library or on archive.org, or maybe that we liked but wasn't our favorite, because what is a living book for one family and what is a favorite may not be the same for another family, and vice versa. So I want you to have a whole range of books at your for your use. So check out that blog post in the description box. So without further ado, here are our favorite books about ancient Greece. The first one that I started with is The Story of the Greeks by H.A. Gruber, and it is revised and updated by Christine Miller. Now, this was our spine that we used for the 3 months that we studied ancient Greece. We didn't get through it all. There's no way that we could get through this along with the biographies and stuff. It is about 200 pages, and we got about a third of the way through, which is about how much we should if we're doing a 4-year cycle, because we're going to be coming back to ancient Greece 2 more times before my son graduates. Now, I'm not going to go into all the details on how we study history in cycles. I'm going to make a future video and podcast episode about that. A Delectable Education podcast goes into great detail and explains it really well, and they have visuals on their website if you want to check that out. And I will put that in the description box below as well. So we studied ancient Greece, and we just started from the beginning of the book, and we read about a third of the way through. A lot of the beginning talks about where ancient Greece fits in with the Bible timeline, which I really like. Talks about how the descendants of Noah moved north, and talks about how they fought with the civilizations around them, and how their language changed or developed over time. And so that's really neat. And at the beginning, it also has Greek myths. And it just has the highlights from the Greek myths, or the most famous ones, to help children kind of get that heroic period before they begin learning about written history. But I really liked the Delaire's book of Greek myths more. This is a really thick book, so you could study this along with the story of the ancient Greece and use this for literature, which Charlotte Mason recommends doing anyway for Form 2. One thing I should also note with Story of the Greeks, the spine that we used, I was reading it to all of my children, but my younger boys were not interested, and there just wasn't enough books books that were appealing to younger kids about ancient Greece. And so I just decided, you know what, we're not going to do history family style. We're going to do Form 1, which is 6 to 9 years old, just American history, and give them a good 3 to 4 years of a foundation understanding our own country's history before we delve into ancient and world history. So I went back to the having each child do their own history. We're studying the same time period in American history, but he just added on ancient and world history. So the Story of the Ancient Greeks, I would not recommend for younger kids. Not that there's any questionable content or adult content, just that it gives a lot more detail and is more wordy, and I think is better suited for older kids. So those were the 2 main books, spines. One was more for literature, but then the other was historical. Then we add a biography and a historical fiction. I couldn't find some good historical fictions for ancient Greece. Now, please, in the comments below, let me know if you know of a good historical fiction or biographies that I don't mention. It's great for me. It's helpful for other mamas. So don't forget to help a mama out. Comment below. Let us know what your favorite living books on ancient Greece is. So mathematics are people too. This is not a true biography, but a compilation of short biographies on mathematicians, a lot of which are Greek. And so I liked reading this one. We actually read this on Fridays for Friday Fun Day in place of math. And my boys loved the stories from this book. They especially love Pythagoras and Archimedes and Hypatia. And there are picture books about these people as well, and that will be in the blog post. But it is nice to just have a compilation of all the stories in one place. So my boys really enjoyed this. I enjoyed it too. The other book that we read, and we read this for Plutarch, but it could also be for biographies. This is a little bit easier version for children to understand of Plutarch's lives. I decided I wanted to read this version in my son's first year doing Form 2 before we delved into the actual Plutarch's lives, which is a little bit meatier for a 10-year-old. So we read this one, and it went along really well with our study of ancient Greece. This was a biography that came very well recommended from a lot of moms, Archimedes and the Door of Science, and it is about 132 pages. And it talks a lot about his inventions, his ideas, and I just thumbed through it. We didn't have time to read this because this term, or the term that we were studying ancient Greece, we actually went to Greece as a family when we did our study travel in Europe. So we didn't get to finish this. I thumbed through it. It looks great, and I'm excited for my Form 2 son to read it next time we study ancient Greece. The biography that he did read before we went to ancient Greece, that term, is the Parthenon. Now, this isn't a true biography of a person. This is a biography of a building, which I think is just as interesting to study how a building was made, study why it was made, the people that lived in it or the people that helped build it. There's a lot of really cool things, especially cultural things, that you learn when you study the biography of a building. This book is part of a series by Elizabeth Mann called Wonders of the World, and it has the Great Wall of China, the Brooklyn Bridge, Machu Picchu, Great Pyramid, the Hoover Dam, Tikal, Empire State Building, lots of buildings. We have loved every one that we've read so far, and the Parthenon is no different. This is a really good one. You can get it used for pretty inexpensive, and hopefully you can find it at your library. And that is it. Those are the books on my bookshelves about ancient Greece. Now, if you're wondering how I use these in my school, there are curriculum guides available on my website, and they're super inexpensive, $15 for digital version, has all of the book lists that I will mention in these videos, and it's divided by age, so Form 1 and Form 2. So all the subjects with all the book lists, and then it's like in a template format where you can take those books and just put them in and use them to create a custom curriculum for your family. And if you want something even more in depth, more hand-holding, I have a membership via Patreon where I show you what lessons look like for each subject, and then I walk you through the process of how I use those books, how I divide them up, and create a custom curriculum for my family. And so both of those links will be in the description box below. And if you like this video, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you're notified whenever a new video comes out.